Hey! Hey! Oh shit, there it is again. There it is. There it is.
Bigger than a normal size man.
Give me the camera.
Deep forest Bigfoot encounters share a terrifying trait they strike when you least expect it. From a mysterious heavy entity slamming onto a solo camper's tent to a massive creature spotted from a moving Colorado train. What would you do if the legend became real right before your eyes? In 2011, a family took a vacation to visit the beautiful Tennessee Smoky Mountains, but they never expected the trip to lead to a discovery they would remember for the rest of their lives.
What's he doing?
While they were there, the family noticed something moving in the background. It was partly covered by bushes, but the shape was enough to make them uneasy. They could not stop thinking that it might have been Bigfoot. The rough terrain made a costume seem unlikely, and stories like this have been reported in these mountains before. Maybe it was nothing, or maybe it was something harder to explain. What would you think if you saw it? Two men went camping to get away from the pressure of their daily lives. As they were enjoying the trip, they heard an unusual sound, and what followed caught them off guard.
No, they had
primal lightning struck fires.
they held their stogies to the skies and waited for Edison to strike.
You can just drag a girl to your cave by their hair and fucking breed.
Yep, just like the good old days. Oh my goodness, she actually kind of does look like a bear.
Did you hear something? When is this blackout? Like your imagination plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, what the heck? Hold on. Wait, what the fuck? The fuck is that?
What? I don't see. What the fuck?
Hey,
Are you
there's
okay?
something. This what the Marin? Like.
In the distance, a strange figure began moving closer. At first, it looked almost like another camper, but as it came into view, it appeared more like a creature than a person. What happened after that is still unknown. The lack of any follow-up raised concern for the men, especially because this was the only video ever posted on the channel. The strangest part is how confidently it moves. It does not seem scared or confused, but walks straight forward. If most creatures avoid humans, why was this one coming closer? Chris is a solo investigator behind the YouTube channel NKPS Paranormal, a channel focused on real-time explorations of haunted and isolated locations. On June 16, 2025, he returned to a deep forest in Kentucky, a place he had visited before but had never stayed in overnight. This time, he decided to go deeper into the area and spend the night there, not knowing what was waiting for him.
As I'm hearing stuff walk around the tent, I've got the knife here, also got the PP back here, the gun, GUN. But that, you hear that noise between the frogs? I think that's a coyote, but hear that? I don't know. Never heard that noise back here before. Oh, and I already started the old step 2, Steve Wallace style. Got some Southern Comfort in there. Trying to get relaxed, trying to feel this area out, listening to my surroundings. Somebody out there? Somebody out there?
Although Chris was prepared and capable of protecting himself, the sound he heard still left him uneasy. It was different from anything he had ever heard in the woods. Even so, he tried to dismiss it as nothing serious, not realizing that the most unsettling part of the night was still ahead.
And then we're gonna call it a night.
Hey! Hey!
What the fuck was that? Jesus Christ. Something just literally jumped on this tent.
Despair.
Who is out there? Did you all see that? Okay, we're gonna put 7.8. This shit's going haywire. This stuff's going haywire. This stuff's going haywire. I'm gonna tell you, I'm shook up, guys. Seriously, I don't have a clue what that was. Whatever it was is big.
After the incident, Chris was clearly shaken, but he tried to convince himself it had to be something harmless. Still, the feeling of something landing on his tent without warning stayed in his mind, especially because he could not explain it. Driven by curiosity, he went out to search the forest, hoping to find some kind of answer. But in the end, he found nothing. Tired and unsettled, he decided to rest for the night, although sleep did not come easily as the unknown continued to weigh on him. In the morning, Chris packed up his gear and left the forest behind. At night, sounds in the woods can travel strangely because trees, distance, and darkness make it harder to tell where they come from. That can turn a normal animal noise into something that feels much closer and much larger than it really is. But if nothing was found outside, what really hit the tent that night? On a quiet winter day, a man and his cousin tried to take a break from everyday life, but their car got stuck in the snow in Lepcha Vrancha. While trying to free it, one of them noticed something unusual.
Да.
Чуваку, что встал?
At first, the figure looked human, but as it moved, its broad, back-wide shoulders and long, swinging arms made it seem far more disturbing. The strangest part was that it walked upright, unlike any four-legged animal they knew. The men were not harmed, but the encounter clearly stayed with them. After the footage spread, some people called it staged, or a man in a costume, while others believed it could have been Bigfoot. Snow can make size and distance harder to judge, especially when a dark figure moves across a bright background. Maybe there is a simple explanation, or maybe its upright walk is what makes the clip so hard to ignore. What do you think they saw? While riding a train between Durango and Silverton in Colorado, a couple claimed they spotted Bigfoot and recorded the moment on video.
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down. Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
A large figure could be seen walking across the mountain before lowering itself to sit down. The woman and her husband were looking outside, hoping to spot elk, when her husband noticed movement. At first, they were unsure what they were seeing, but when they noticed the size of the figure and how naturally it blended into the sagebrush, they believed they had just seen Bigfoot. Before this moment, the woman and her husband did not believe in Bigfoot. But after seeing the figure with their own eyes, they became convinced it was real and not just a legend. Maybe there is a normal explanation, or maybe this was the moment that changed their minds for good. If you saw that figure from the train, would you believe it was Bigfoot? He thought he was looking at a big bear during an elk hunt, but within seconds the encounter turned into something far harder to explain. Tim Wells is a bow hunter, and his videos focus on exactly that, bow hunting. His content feels real with no clear sign of staging, just pure hunting forest knowledge and practical tips from the outdoors. In this particular video, he was in Idaho during the 2013 elk season. Not long after reaching the area, his friend kept insisting that he had spotted a large bear. Tim quickly prepared to take the shot, but then he realized it was not a bear at all.
Give me the camera. Eric, get out, get my bow, get out. Eric, come here.
Where's my bow? I tripped. Oh my god, I tripped on the bow. What was that? I told you that wasn't a freaking bear. What was that?
Once Tim understood that he grabbed the camera and rushed after it, knowing this might be one of the rarest encounters he would ever witness. The creature disappeared, but Tim knew he had just experienced something truly once in a lifetime.
GPS.
Our last GPS was, I think, 4.6 is what I
So we're 4.6 from the truck, and that's the closest road. I'm coming down here, I'm beat. All of a sudden, Eric's like, oh my gosh, big bear, big bear. I look down the hill, and it is the freaking tallest bear walking on 2 legs I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I turned to get Eric to turn on the camera. He's already filming at that point.
I didn't get pushed on play until...
But when did you realize it wasn't a bear?
Well, when I realized it wasn't a bear in the undergrowth here, it looked like a bear because all I seen was the brown coming through.
Their reaction seemed genuine, and the situation could have ended much worse if they had mistaken it for a bear and fired. In thick forest, a dark moving shape can be hard to identify, especially when branches and undergrowth block parts of the body. That is why hunters have to be extremely careful before making a decision. Maybe it was a misidentified animal, or maybe Tim saw something that still does not fit a simple answer. What do you guys think it was? Sometimes one small movement in the forest is enough to pull someone closer. For this hiker, that moment led to something much harder to explain. A man was hiking through the woods when he noticed movement that caught his attention. He moved closer, thinking he might be tracking a bull elk. But before long, he realized that what he had spotted seemed like something completely different. At first, he thought it might be a moose. Then his attention shifted to an animal ribcage hanging nearby with all the flesh stripped away. It soon became clear to him that the figure did not seem like a moose, and it did not look like a bear either. So what did this man really record? Was it Bigfoot, a trick of the eyes, or just a strangely shaped tree trunk? Let us know what you think as we move into more encounters. On September 8th, 2024, in a video uploaded on TikTok, a man was hiking deep inside a remote mountain range. The trail was quiet, the air was cold, and the climb was steep. Then he noticed something high on the mountainside, a dark cave with something massive inside. He moved closer, and the sight stopped him in his tracks. A huge stone head appeared to be sticking out from the cave wall. Its shape looked like a face, but not a human one. The wide features, deep eyes, heavy brow, and long, thick mouth gave it an eerie resemblance to Bigfoot.
Could this be the face of Bigfoot?
The stone face looked so detailed and lifelike that it almost felt as if it was staring directly at him. The location was so high and difficult to reach that he could not understand how anyone could have carved it there. Then another thought crossed his mind. What if it had not been carved at all? He remembered an old theory he had once read claiming that giant creatures or even living beings could be turned into stone after centuries of minerals and weather covering them over time. Looking at the size of the head, he began to believe the idea. The face inside the cave looked strangely close to Bigfoot. He slowly stepped back, but the stone eyes still seemed to follow him. That was the moment he felt that some parts of the mountain were never meant to be discovered. Maybe it was only a strange formation shaped by time, or maybe the cave held something harder to explain. If you saw that face in the mountain, would you think nature made it or something else? On May 24th, 2025, a group of hikers near High River, Colorado, came across something strange and unexpected. They recorded the entire moment on camera, turning the hike into an experience they would never forget.
It was moving. I saw it move.
Yeah, I saw it move too.
It's a bear, you think? Maybe no. It's
Where is it? Do you see it?
Yeah, I do. That brown against the tree right there.
Dude, it's like hidden in the tree.
It's like dead. See the slant right there?
Dude, I can't find it in the phone. Say he's straight up there.
Here, bear. Here, bear. It almost looks like
some rock coming
It's like
down.
waving around. Bigger than a normal size man. Dude.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's not moving like a bear.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, that's weird.
It's definitely. Guys, stop looking at the phone. You can see it. Is he plotting against us? We come in peace. We come in peace.
I can't zoom in any more than this.
As the hikers moved through the wilderness, they noticed a massive and mysterious creature in the distance. It appeared tall and covered in hair. Some rumors suggest that a portal near the Colorado River may be drawing strange beings into the area, and sightings there are not unheard of. Even though the hikers felt a little frightened, they also seemed grateful to have witnessed the moment with their own eyes. From far away, trees, shadows, and uneven ground can make a large shape harder to understand. When something appears covered in hair and stands partly hidden in the wild, the brain quickly tries to decide what it is. Whatever the creature was, it remains a strange mystery. What do you think the hikers saw that day? Some encounters are frightening because they happen in places that feel completely safe. What these tourists recorded left many viewers uneasy. On February 27, 2012, in a quiet area of Rio Claro, Brazil, a group of tourists stopped at a beautiful waterfall. The sound of rushing water filled the area, and everything felt peaceful until something unusual happened.
Domingo, curtindo uma cachoeira em Rio de Janeiro.
While filming the scene, one of the tourists noticed a dark, human-like figure slowly rising from the water. It was not swimming. It was not climbing. It was simply coming up with a shape that looked too still and too unnatural.
Agora o melhor de tudo é essa queda d'água. Muita força. Uhul! Ih, caraca! Tem uma coisa ali. Mozinho, você viu o cara no meio da água? Ali, mozinho!
Then, without warning, it slipped back into the waterfall and disappeared completely. The water moved as if something had passed through it, but there were no clear splashes and no signs of movement afterward.
Tem alguma coisa lá no meio da água.
The group searched around the area but found nothing. There were no footprints on the wet rocks and no one else appeared to be in the water. The place suddenly felt colder, and the happy sound of the waterfall seemed to carry a strange, heavy silence. After the footage was uploaded, many people believed it showed a ghost, possibly the spirit of someone who had drowned there long ago. Others said they could not bring themselves to watch the video a second time.
Você viu o cara no meio da água? Caraca! Ali, mozinho!
Maybe it was only a strange reflection, or maybe something was truly there before it vanished into the water. If you had seen that figure rise from the waterfall, would you call it a trick of the eyes, or something harder to explain? A man and his child were having a fun day riding an ATV and recording the scenery when they came across something unusual. The sighting later became known as the Beast of Gum Hill. They noticed a massive figure said to be around 7 feet tall moving between the trees. Because the encounter was fairly clear, viewers could see its tall frame and steady movements. And since it happened in daylight, the footage became harder for many people to ignore. Daylight can reveal details that darkness usually hides, such as body shape, height, and movement. Maybe it was Bigfoot, or maybe it was someone wearing a costume. But if you saw a 7-foot figure moving through the trees in broad daylight, what would you think it was? He went into a national forest hoping to find abandoned mines, but the deeper he went, the more the forest started to feel wrong. Meet Jed, the creator of the YouTube channel Safety Third, where he shares his love for travel and adventure. On December 31st, 2024, he set out on an overnight hike in the Daniel Boone National Forest, hoping to find abandoned mines. But without knowing it, his hike was about to take a frightening turn.
Something's knocking wood up there. I don't know. That's weird. What is that, man? It seems like maybe it's a squirrel cracking a nut or something.
Sudden strange sounds began echoing from nowhere, making him uneasy. He tried to dismiss them as simple sounds of nature, but he was still determined to continue his hike. However, when he reached the mine, the situation changed.
I don't think these are like very old at all. That's a pretty high coal seam too. And it's dry. What the freak? That was weird.
A strange, almost human-like scream broke through the silence, echoing between the trees and sending a chill through him. He tried to ignore it and keep exploring, but no matter what he told himself, the uneasy feeling stayed with him. It felt like something was watching him. In the end, Jed chose safety over adventure. He decided not to stay the night and carefully made his way back to his car, leaving the wilderness behind. Maybe it was only an animal call twisted by the forest, or maybe something was nearby that he never saw. If you heard that scream near an abandoned mine, would you keep going or turn back? Mo Sargi, a popular YouTuber known for exploring creepy places, decided to try hunting for Bigfoot at a cemetery rumored to have sightings. He was joined by military personnel and 2 adventurers. But shortly after they arrived, something unexpected began to unfold.
So it would make sense, in theory. I don't understand why. I don't think anybody
Hey guys, everybody stay inside. We got something out there. We don't need to get down there. So I switched over to zoom lens. We've been hearing a lot of noises coming from that way. Where is it? Did you see anything? No, like we last heard like something fighting in the bushes over there.
I heard something.
Believing that something was moving in the bushes, the group focused closely on the area, hoping to catch whatever was making the sound. Then they finally saw it.
What is it? Oh my god. What the hell is that?
Oh, what the hell? What the hell is that? What is that?
What is that? Oh my god.
Guys, that's a Bigfoot.
It's Bigfoot.
It's furry. It's furry.
Yo.
It's got fur on it. I can see with my eyes. It's got fur.
What the hell?
Oh my god.
Good, we're going after it.
No, that. I'm not running after that.
Matt, take your gun out.
They spotted a massive creature covered in dark fur, walking upright among the trees. Even though their goal was to capture Bigfoot on camera, they were too frightened to follow it. In thick bushes, sound and shadows can make anything feel hard to identify. Maybe fear made it seem worse, or maybe they saw something real. If you were there, would you chase it or stay back? Sometimes the scariest part of camping is not what you hear outside, but what you might see when you finally look. This camper recorded something he knew people would doubt. A man was camping in the woods and decided to rest inside his tent. While lying there, he began hearing strange noises moving closer. Feeling both curious and careful, he looked through the fabric of the tent to see what was outside. He managed to record something on camera, knowing that without proof, no one would believe what he had seen. The figure looked especially unsettling because it stood upright and seemed to have broad shoulders, unlike a normal animal. Even though the footage is old, it still feels eerie. You can imagine how terrified he must have been in that moment. Maybe it was a large animal seen through the tent, or maybe it was something that still does not have a clear answer. What do you think he saw? Was it a giant Bigfoot or something else? What would you do if you walked into a dark cave and saw a massive bear lying only a short distance away? On May 21st, 2023, a TikTok user shared footage from his final hiking trip. While hiking through thick wilderness, he discovered a dark cave. Curiosity pushed him to step inside. As he slowly moved through the passage, the air felt cold, and the walls seemed to press in around him. Then something ahead caught his attention. A large shadow blocked part of the path. When he moved a little closer, the shape became clear. It was a massive bear lying still in the darkness. Its size was frightening, and for a moment it felt as if the entire cave belonged to it. The bear was deep in hibernation, and its slow breathing faintly echoed through the cave. His chest tightened, and every instinct told him not to make a sound. Step by step, he backed away carefully, trying not to wake the beast. He finally stepped back into the daylight, alive and shaken, knowing one wrong move could have ended everything. Even a hibernating bear can react if disturbed, which makes caves in the wild extremely risky. Maybe it never noticed him, or maybe he left just in time. Would you keep filming or back out? In 2011, a hunter near Ketchikan, Alaska, recorded a large human-like figure in the forest. His video sparked curiosity about what might be living in that remote wilderness.
Oh shit, there it is again, there it is. There it is. Oh my god. There it is, there it is. It's right behind that tree. Oh my god, I'm tripping out, I'm shaking. I saw it down by the creek. Oh my god. Shit. Run!
He saw a tall, hairy creature walking on two legs and managed to capture it on video before it disappeared. The hunter became frightened and decided to leave the forest, worried about what might happen if the creature noticed him. Many people believe the figure could be Bigfoot because of its unusual appearance, but the footage remains debated. Thick Alaskan forests can hide movement quickly, especially when trees and brush block the view. A large figure can appear for only a moment before vanishing completely. Whatever it really was, it is definitely something most people would never want to run into in the woods. Maybe it was a strange animal, maybe a person, or maybe something harder to explain. What do you think he saw? What would you do if you woke up in your tent to a distant cry, then heard a gunshot moments later? This unsettling footage was captured by Xander Budnick, a YouTuber known for his outdoor adventures. With nearly 20 years of experience, Xander has built an audience through thrilling trips in remote places. But on March 28, 2021, during a camping trip near his home, he experienced something chilling that deeply shook him.
So I just got out here, it's 12 degrees Celsius, we got snow on the ground, we got rain on the forecast, and it's that weird time between winter and summer. This is definitely an awkward time to go camping. So we're out here with a ton of gear, and basically this is just an experiment, seeing what we can do in this type of season.
Xander packed his gear and hiked into the forest, recording the trip as he went. He eventually found a good place to set up his tent. At first, the forest felt calm, but later that night the atmosphere became eerie, broken only by distant thunder.
What the hell is that noise?
Xander suddenly woke up to a strange sound far away that seemed almost like a cry. He stayed still, trying to figure out where it was coming from. Then a gunshot suddenly rang out, cutting off the unsettling noises. Frozen with fear, he listened closely, but the forest became silent again. Even though he was scared, Xander managed to sleep through the night, but by morning the feeling still had not left him. After breakfast, he packed his gear and left the forest. When he got home, he searched the news for reports of anything unusual but found nothing. To this day, Xander and his viewers still do not know what those sounds were. Maybe it was something ordinary that only sounded strange in the dark, or maybe something happened out there that was never reported. What do you think he heard that night? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.